Hello, I'm Steve Berry. Welcome to our October sale preview here at Manor Park. Now, like me, one of the worst things that you could watch on YouTube is someone who says straight into it and then blathers on for ages. So, straight into it. This unique motorcycle. Yes, it's an RD500 from the mid-80s. They made it for 2 years. Of course, trading on the success of King Kenny Roberts, the master of the two strokes, the guy who invented backing it into corners and all sorts of things. Not sliding his knee, as some people will tell you. That was Janos Saarinen. Or was it a British rider? And which British rider was it? Put it in the comments below. Like I said, unique. This is a pre-production frame that was discovered and led to a 23-year quest. There's no other way of putting it. The guy went on a mission and he was obsessed and he did it. He brought together an entire new RD500, i.e. a motorcycle that never existed. This frame was pre-production and was supplied so that people could, within Yamaha, could look at what difference or what changes might have to be made for the production bike. But the guy saw an opportunity, and as I say, over 23 years, he managed to bring together every single component, new, old stock, no pattern nonsense, everything new, everything Yamaha. What he also did was keep all the bags and boxes with the barcodes and part numbers, and he provided a catalogue, which is somewhere. There's a photograph of his list, his comprehensive list. You can see on there, screws, washers. Yeah, Yamaha screws and washers. No like, oh, a 10mm bolt and a 10mm nut. Yamaha 10mm bolt, Yamaha 10mm nut. You couldn't do it again. We believe it would be impossible. After going to the Stafford Classic Mechanics show at the weekend and having people tell us things like, this rubber around the headlight is completely unobtainable. You cannot get it. Somebody said that he'd seen a price of €700 just for that piece of rubber, genuine Yamaha, used. That's brand new. Everything's brand new. We had so much interest in this bike at the Classic Mechanics show. So many people came onto our stand. It was great. We really enjoyed being there. I can't believe that I still get paid. I think I get. Do I still get paid? Cameraman's keeping mum to stand around and talk about bikes, and especially about this bike, which is something very special indeed. Don't miss it. Hard to estimate. When something is unique, how do you imagine what price it will go for? I think this is truly an example of what somebody's prepared to pay on the day. That day being this Friday, October the 17th, here at Manor Park Classics in Leafy, Cheshire. Come down. We have a great day on the sale day. I know some of you are coming just for a day out because you told me at the Classic Mechanics show that's what you do. But make sure you register to bid because you never know. Even if you're thinking, I don't need another bike. You might not need another bike, but you probably want another bike. And the bike that I'd want is this one. It's a privilege to be able to offer it for sale because it is unique. We think, and this is what we think, £40,000 to £45,000 on the 1984 Yamaha RD500 LC, brand spanking new. It'll never happen again. Honda 1976 Evocation. I like that word. Whoever's thought of that. Instead of replica or homage, it's an evocation. In other words, it conjures up a mood, a vibe of the Jim Redman bike. Jim Redman, of course, one of that gang of Anglo, I'm going to say, because they weren't all Brits like Mike Halewood. Many of them were South African, Rhodesian, as they would have said then, Australian or Kiwis. But the Anglo sphere, as they call it, those are the riders, of course, who made Honda the force that they became in motorcycle racing. Jim Redman was very prominent among that gang of brave and talented men who made the name of Honda. Soichiro Honda was no fool. He realised that the Japanese riders weren't up to it. The bike was up to it, the Japanese bike, but not the riders. And so he came and got English-speaking riders like Jim. Air-cooled, transverse-mounted, 400cc inline 4 with 2 valves per cylinder, megafoam pipes, a lightweight racing tank, race fairing, recent tyres, a fun, usable race replica. Looks gorgeous, fantastic. If they've tried to evoke that era, whoever's built this, well, you've done a bloody good job. We reckon on the 76 CB400 Jim Redman Evocation, 5750 to 6250 is our estimate. Of course, there are fees and charges. You can find out all of that important, but frankly boring information, so I'm not going to go into it now, on our website. And you should, obviously, check that before you rock up on Friday, or you log on the internet to follow the sale online. 1961. What? Hold on a minute. Really? Okay. Yeah. Wow. What a special this is. 1961/1980s DCM-Yamaha 500. A DCM special racing frame. Yeah, look at that. Look at those tubes. The twin tubes down there. Cradling that Yamaha 500cc engine. 500cc twin valve single 4-stroke. With a wet sump conversion, brand new Mikuni flat slide carburetor, Yamaha TZ bodywork. What a special this is. What a special bike. Yes, it's got a plate on the back. And as we say, the engine is 80s, but the frame is 60s. So it's an old 3 and 3. 753 UYN is the reg on this. Well, I've never seen anything like it, really. Well, I've seen things like it, but not exactly like it. It's a real mashup of styles, genres, periods, but done to a very high standard. The estimate on this one, £3,000 to £3,500. Road ready, ready to go. I'll tell you what, if you rocked up at your favourite bike or haunt on a sunny Sunday on this, I guarantee you would not see anything else like it. £3,000 to £3,500, the estimate on that one. You'd probably see something like this, but maybe not as nicely as this one is done. It's a 1975 Yamaha XS750 flat tracker. Of course, it's got that engine inspired by, people say Triumph, but it's more BSA, I think, the Yamaha XS650. And of course, as people would mention, it was inspired by those British parallel twins of that period. But unlike them, it didn't leak oil, and it was far more reliable. Maybe not as much character. I think so, because this speaks to me, because I'm exactly the right age. 61 since you asked, made in 64. So this era of Yamaha, right up my Strasse. Daytona yellow with the black and white Kenny Roberts speed blocks, absolutely fantastic. The quality of this builds like this can be a bit patchy. Some bits of it are great, some not so great. This one is primo quality. From stem to stern, it really is in fantastic condition. 5-speed gearbox, superb condition and detailing. Watch yourself on those pipes. Stick your leg out like that, wear asbestos trousers. You can fabricate some form of shield for it, I would imagine. Great, I love it. The stance of it as well, it sits just right. £2,500 to £3,000 on the 75 Yamaha XS650 flat tracker. Speaking of flat trackers, CCM, of course, no longer with us. But I'll tell you what, they lived fast, they died young, and they've left a very good-looking corpse in the shape of this 2019. Wow, is this bike 6 years old? Doesn't look it. 2019 CCM Spitfire flat tracker, Skunk Works limited edition. Whatever CCM were offering you, and that's, of course, what CCM did. They essentially built our bike, and then they offered you all kinds of extras and add-ons and carbon fibre and special exhaust and all of these special bits of trim, an uprated instrument panel, these grips, all kinds of stuff on this bike that would have cost a pretty penny had you specified it from new. This is just about as far as you could go. There's the CCM spec list. Tick, 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 everything. So you've got the 600cc single-cylinder engine based on a Husqvarna design, not the Husqvarna, but based on that design. Made in Italy, I think, these, weren't they, in this period, 6 years ago. It's got a valid MOT. We've got the fob plus the red master fob, which is important to have. Carbon all over the shop, seat unit, rear mudguard, front mudguard, wherever you can find or think you could put a bit of carbon, it's been put. Recent tyres, they look brand new to me, and part of a private collection, used by the owner until recently. It's done 8,500 miles, and the estimate is £6,000 to £6,500. 2019 CCM Spitfire flat tracker with everything on it. Honda, oh, here we go. A significant motorcycle, I think. One of the most significant motorcycles ever made. People often don't consider this because it's only a little 350 and it's a 4-cylinder motorcycle. They think, what's the point? There was a twin at the time that Honda offered, CB350, but it was a twin, I think CB350T, and it was more powerful and faster than this, but this was Honda's thinking, which is current thinking. People don't necessarily want a big bike. They want all the things on a big bike in a smaller bike. So they gave it them. They didn't make it for long either. Rare bike. Front disc and rear drums. Yeah, they were giving you a disc in 72. Electrics. They got electric start. Yes. Very original example. It's got a Delcovic exhaust, which is what you put on when the original one rots through, rather than one that you put on to make a big mad noise. And it's, as I say, a rare bike, a significant bike. Not the fastest thing on the road, but wow, in 1972, you could get all of this technology, all of the wisdom that Honda had gained from building the 750 version of this. This is a 750 that shrunk in the wash. It's got everything the 750 had. A rare motorcycle, and I think criminally underpriced at the moment. 2,800 to 3,300 on the Honda CB350 4 cylinders, but just 350 cc's. One of the most important bikes ever made. And now, today, when they're all at it, aren't they? Making a 350 or a 400 and trying to sell it to lads that previously would only contemplate something 750 or above. 50 years ago, Honda were doing it. More than 50 years ago. You'd like a Vincent, wouldn't you? But they're bloody expensive. So why not have this? This was built by a Vincent enthusiast who did have Vincents, but what he wanted was something, a daily, something to ride around all times of year. And he spent a lot of time and a lot of money creating this homage to Vincent. Yeah, that's a good word. Out of a Yamaha XV1000. So it's a 1000cc 4-stroke V-twin. It had a full rebuild from 2007 to 2018. He spent 11 years building this. Wow. I tell you what, he didn't do a bad job. I mean, what he's not done is try and kid people on that it's a real Vincent. Yeah, he did. Look, it says HRD. Harold Raymond Davis, that stood for. You all knew that, didn't you? The Vincent. Made in Stevenage in Hertfordshire. Except this one was made in Hamamatsu, Japan, by Mitsui Yamaha. Most of it. But he's got a big old clock face here to make it look like the Vincent one, except he's got the Yamaha one in there. He's made a seat. This might be a Vincent seat, or at least it's very much based on it. He's had it made like it. Look, the guy had an idea. I'm going to do big miles on this. I don't want to put a load of miles on my very valuable Vincent motorcycles. So I'll build a modern bike that's a homage to the Vincent. And then he thought, right, I've done that. I'll sell it to somebody else. 11 years it took to build. 2,800, did I say that? I did, didn't I? 2,800 to 3,300 on what is definitely a custom motorcycle. Look at all this powder coating, the rims, the way the rims have been painted with the black and the red pinstripe to look like the rims on a Vincent. The guy went to a lot of trouble with the details on that bike. It's not for me, and it's probably not for a lot of people, but I'll bet there's somebody out there who just thinks, that looks great, it'd be so much more usable than a real Vincent. Yes, it would, and so much cheaper. 2,800 to 3,300 is the estimate. This is a universal Japanese motorcycle. That's what they said, didn't they? Because they said, They're all the same, those Japanese bikes. Kawasaki, Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha. They've all got 4 cylinders. Or 3 cylinders. See, they weren't all the same, were they? Yeah, this is a 3-cylinder motorcycle, air-cooled, matching numbers. It's only done 12,000 miles from new. Maybe that's why the paint and the saddle and all the stuff that you think, the stuff that humans interface with and which the road interfaces with and the environment, they all get worn out and split and dulled and dirty and scratched and all that carry on. The tank's great, the seat's great. I think it might have had a respray and some new decals on here at some point in the near past. It's only had one owner. Wow, one owner motorcycle. An iconic triple, yeah. At the time, what else had 3 cylinders? Maybe a Trident, with this still 79, Triumph Trident. Laverda, but prices, Laverda, considerably more than the estimate on this fine Yamaha with double discs on the front. Very usable. When I say that, what I mean is, if you've got double discs and you're driving in regular traffic, when the idiots do what the idiots will do, because we all know that they're going to do that every single time you go out, you know you can stop. Double discs on the front. Something that can keep up in modern traffic. Looks great. Make a good 2-up touring bike for the sort of touring. We were talking about this the other day. 2 kinds of touring. Touring where you go out and go very, very fast to get to places. Done quite a lot of that with my mates. Don't know why we do it sometimes. And the other kind of touring where you look at the things that you see. You stop, take a picture outside a castle, have a cup of tea and a scone. That sort of touring. That's what that'd be great for, I reckon. £2,500 to £3,000, 79 Yamaha XS750 with low mileage. What was it? 12,000 miles and one owner from new. Fantastic. Do not touch this bike. Just ride it as it is. Is it shaft drive? It is. Wow. There's me going, oh, universal UJM. They're all the same. 4 cylinders, chain drive. No, they're not. Rubbish. Yamaha were building a triple with shaft drive. They also made these in the 70s. A no reserve bike. We like those. That means it's going to sell on the day. That day being this Friday, October the 17th, at our Bijou premises. I'm just going to ask the cameraman to show our mezzanine. That is the mezzanine that we have built here so we can put the bikes up there. Yeah, we're going up in the world. Massive. Huge up there. Be full of bikes. Going to put some tellies in. Maybe a little bit of a bar down the bottom end, pool table, jukebox. No, I thought we were having a pool table and a jukebox. Never mind. Yamaha TX500. Like I said, no reserve. Air-cooled 500cc, double overhead cam. Yamaha liked that, didn't they? They didn't mind putting a bit of technology in the old double overhead cam with a balance shaft to reduce by 8 valve. Look at the tech on this. It looks like an old bike. And it is, in many respects, chronologically, it's an old bike. Look, it's got a Kickstarter. And it's got electric start. I love it. Kickstarter and electric start. Double overhead cam, 8 valve heads. Fantastic. We've got a Nova and dating letter present, so it's an import from United States, I would imagine. Yes, it's got the orange side reflectors that are mandated by federal law and were back in the day. So you can just go, oh yeah, it's got the old orange side thingies. Do you know why? I'll tell you. America, even recently, when I started going in the 80s, I was quite shocked at how many dirt roads there were and stuff like that. We got out of the airport in Florida, drove down the interstate and turned off onto what was like a farm track and just kept going and going and going. And I thought, where's the road gone? Then I realised a lot of America was still like that. The problem they had was lads on bikes and in cars were waiting to pull out onto these dirt tracks. So much dust and stuff like that, they couldn't be seen. So they said, you've got to have these side reflectors so people coming along the road can see people who want to pull out, even if they're side on and you can't see their rubbish headlight and their rubbish backlight. Look at this carry-on at the back here, all this. I like this backlight. Classy. This is a handsome motorcycle in great condition, quite rare. Mostly original. We've only got one key with it. It's unregistered. Right, okay. But we've got the Nova stuff, so it's an import, obviously. You'd have to register it. We've got all the stuff. It's legit, don't worry. No reserve. We don't know what it's going to go for. Somebody's going to get a bargain, I think. And people say, are you not tempted by the bikes in the sale? Of course I am. Every single sale, I'm tempted by about half a dozen bikes. But don't get high on your own supply, is what I say. Yeah. I also say, look at this huge alternative to the rather more predictable BMW GS that everybody, or Triumph Tiger, that everybody else seems to be smoking about on. It's the Suzuki V-Strom. And I happen to know for a fact, because the cops told me, that when they were thinking of buying a bike that looked like this, they crunched all the numbers, and the Suzuki was the most efficient bike for them. Because what they're looking at is perhaps not what we're looking for. The cops want something that's cheap to run, cheap to insure, because they've got to insure their bikes and cars. People forget that. Cheap to run, cheap tax, reliable. Reliability is one of the key words. And they said, more than the BMW, more than the Honda, more than the Triumph, the Suzuki V-Strom was the best all-rounder when it comes to a bike like this. This one, however, is from nearly 20 years ago. So take that with a pinch of salt. A nice example with many upgrades. It's got an adjustable screen with that bit on there. It's got these handguards. There are all kinds of little dress-up bits around. It's got the full luggage, which is Suzuki luggage. Heated grips. Of course it's got heated grips. It's got a CR Moto carbon fibre exhaust end can on there. Very nice. And GP... and engine bars. Of course it's got engine bars. Yeah. Good colour. I like a black bike. They're hard to keep clean, though. Everyone says that, don't they? Oh, black car, really hard to keep clean. You wouldn't want a brown car, though, would you? Or a brown bike? Probably not. 2,250 to 2,750. 1,000cc 4-stroke, 6-speed manual, full luggage, all that gear that I've told you about. 42,000 miles. Wears those miles very lightly. The paint, the seat, the pegs, the luggage. It's all in good order. Thinking about it, are you looking at a GS? Are you thinking it's 25,000 quid? Well, tell you what, let's go down a digit in the right direction. Let's 2,250, not 22,000, 2,250 to 2,750. Put a plate on it. Your neighbours would never know. Is that new? Yeah. Honda Goldwing, the original high-speed tourer. That's what the lads have put here, and for once they're right. Lads, I'm only kidding. 1975, it's an early one. Great colour. New battery, oil filter and front tyre. Fresh fuel was added and it started up straight away. It's got the original toolkit. That's rare. We've got receipts for it. We've got the V5. We've got 2 keys for it. I banged on about how much I love these. Look at the bars. Look at that. That is a hunker burning motorcycle, isn't it? 28,012 miles since 1975, which I think is 50 years ago. It's 50 years old, half a century. Wow. This isn't what I think of. In my head, a bike that's half a century old is black with like hand-administered gold pinstripes, running boards, and like, you know, a wicker basket on the back. But in reality, this is what a half a century bike is. A Honda Goldwing. Like the lad said, the original high-speed tourer. No bags, no screen. I like them like this. No bags, no screen. Just get a... Just stuff what you need under the seat. Toothbrush, credit card. Maybe some... No, don't say it, Barry. That's all you need. Get going. Head out on the highway on a half a century old bike, which is in fantastic, usable condition. 2,500 to 3,000 on the 75 Goldwing. Indian Scout, this is a relatively new motorcycle. I once went to do, pay attention, first mention of Top Gear. How far in away? 20 minutes, something like that. Already he's going on about Top Gear. I had a bloke, where was he? Staffordshire. No, not Staffordshire. At Barron's Manor Park South. And he said to me, don't remember you on Top Gear. I said, well, I do. I went to see a guy who was like the preeminent collector of the original Indian motorcycles from back in the day when they competed with Harley Davidson. And those things, the prices on them, an Indian Scout and Indian Chief, they're in the stratosphere. Weirdly, and you might remember this, there was like an interim version of Indian motorcycles where they had an engine that was not unlike the Harley-Davidson Panhead, a V-twin that looked like the Harley-Davidson Panhead, which I, to my surprise, found being developed in a unit on a scruffy street in Rochdale, Lancashire, before it came out. Yeah, you wouldn't expect to find that, would you? An American motorcycle company developing its engine. But it was Al Melling, the guy who did all the stuff for TVR. He was working on it. Interesting guy. I'll tell you a story about him another time. Right now, this is a very low mileage example of it's 5-year-old. 5-year-old motorcycle. Looks great, doesn't it? 1153 liquid cool V-twin. It's got a fresh, clean MOT. It's got data tag. There's a rear backrest, so somebody doesn't go flying off there. And an Isle of Man V5. Yeah, maybe that's why the mileage is limited. It's not really the thing you'd go honking round the mountain course on, is it? Hey, they got this right, didn't they? The attention to detail, the contrast between the black and the bright work. It's not too much in your face. And all the componentry looks to be really high quality. The fit and finish is fantastic. 7250 to 7750, 2020 Indian Scout. Not like an original Indian Scout. When I went to see that bloke up in Edinburgh, Alan, who did the original ones, it's the only time anybody's offered me this. He offered me a kidney belt. Some of you are thinking, you what? A kidney belt? What's one of them? Well, it's like a belt that you wear around your kidneys because hardtail suspension, nothing on the back, no suspension of any kind apart from the air in the tyre. And Edinburgh, he said, it's got a lot of really bad streets and like cobble streets. And I went, oh, I don't think so. He strapped his on. I wish I'd taken him up on it. I wish I'd worn that kidney belt. No such worries on this, of course. You've got proper modern suspension, as you'd expect. Doing very well in the bagger racing, aren't they, Indian? Kicking Harley's arse. Look at this, though. Come on. 2018 Harley-Davidson FXFBS Fat Bob 114 or 114. People will be going, he said 114. Well, I don't know. 114, 114, whatever it is. FXFBS. Aggressive, bad boy American cruiser. Yeah, look at it. What a great looking motorcycle. If you like this sort of thing, and I do. Wow. In the early 90s, I worked on a magazine about Harley-Davidsons, just about Harleys. And the new bikes then were things like the Sturgis, the Fat Boy, with the Evo engine, the 1340 Evo engine. They've come a long way since then. Not just in the amount of power that these new engines are kicking out. I mean, I have ridden them. I've ridden quite a few of them. Just been shocked and surprised by just how quick they are and the brakes and everything. These are, forget the days of thinking, oh, what did they used to call them? Oh, Milwaukee tractor. Forget that crap. Yeah, ooh, I nearly swore then. Forget that nonsense. Edit that bit out. Low mileage. It's got a Vance and Hine pipe, of course. Very good. Sissy bar. Extra headlight on the screen surround. That's been added. Fire red pearl paint with a matte black contrast. It has a current MOT. It's done under 2,000 miles. You can tell. It's like a brand new motorcycle, this one. Not a mark on it. Fantastic. Big numbers, you're thinking. Big numbers, Berry. Not really. 10,000 to 12,000 pounds. Think how much it would be new. A lot more than that. That's only an estimate, of course. These are estimates. The lads upstairs have put their heads together and they've come up with these prices. No, they know what they're doing. 10 to 12,000 pounds, but you never know. It might go for quite a bit more because it is effectively under 2,000 miles like a brand new bike with all those extras. 2005 Harley-Davidson. They've all got big names, these American. They're all big and they've got big names to go with a big bike. Harley-Davidson FLHRSEI Road King. A unique ultra cruiser with a supercharger. Yeah. This thing. Wow. Look at that.
Mental. Oh, I hope you like polishing if you buy this. Or you've got someone else that can...
I get my man to do the polishing. Great. Can you imagine if you out on this and you're coming home, you got about 2 miles from home and it started pouring it down? You'd be sick, wouldn't you? You think, going to take me all week. But you might like that. Get in the garage, kettle on, bit of Steve Wright on the... Oh, no Steve Wright on the radio. Get him on YouTube. Steve Wright on YouTube, old show, and get polishing away. What a thing. And then planning. That's what you'd be doing. You'd be getting the maps out and planning a big, mad trip across Europe on this ultimate Harley-Davidson cruiser. Originally, a 1550cc 4-stroke twin with the Pro Charger, supercharger, and an intercooler to make sure things don't get too toasty down there. We've got full Harley-Davidson official luggage, a touring screen, an extended lighting kit on the front, as I'm sure you're aware. Look at all this lighting on the front. They'd think you were a Mack truck coming in the opposite direction, wouldn't they? Which is probably just as well. Front and rear running boards, effortless torque. Just think how much torque that motor produces with that supercharger on it. Special customised seat, customised grips. Just the guy had just spent money forever on this bike. And you could snap it up now, we reckon, for between £8,000 and £8,500. 2005 Harley-Davidson Road King, but so much more. More in accessories than the bike cost, I reckon, with the build, with the expense of the build, putting that supercharger, because people say, how much is that supercharger? I go, hold on a sec, how much to put it on the bike? How much fitted? Forget all that expense and hassle, just buy that one. Did you do all that? Yeah. They won't know. 2015 Harley-Davidson FLHRC Road King, hold on a second, Classic. Shall I say that again? No. It says Screamin' Eagle. Now, I know for a fact that Screamin' Eagle is Harley-Davidson aftermarket, their own, their AMG, if you will, their aftermarket performance parts branch. So back in the day, as I was talking about earlier, when you bought an Evo engine bike, they would sell you all the things to make it work, like a Mikuni carburetor instead of the mousetrap that was on it or whatever. Anyway, 1690 air-cooled. Oh, so from earlier on, we're up to 1690. It's the twin cam, right, 103 with an integrated oil cooler. This one's just been MOT'd. Being the Screamin' Eagle update, i.e. the AMG of Road Kings, in the same way that Mercedes do that, or the M, like BMW in cars, M3, M5, this is the top-of-the-range super sporty one with loads of power. It comes with a Vance & Hines pipe. It's got special paint because it's a Screamin' Eagle version, upgraded bars and hard shell saddlebags. Yeah, they look like traditional sort of bad boy leather ones, but they have a hard shell. 12,500 miles from new. We've got 2 keys, the V5, the owner's manual. It's HPI free. It's great looking. What a thing. How much? We reckon £11,000 to £13,000. 2015 Harley Road King Classic Screamin' Eagle variation with just 13,000 miles on its odometer. We've got a lovely lineup of Ducatis. Let's start at this end. 2005 Ducati 1000 SSDS. Only 3,578 miles from new, and can't you just tell? I'll allow the cameraman to come in and work his magic. Just give you an idea of how clean this motorcycle is. They say, don't they, you could eat your dinner off it. Now, why they say that, I have no idea. It's a stupid thing to say. Why would you want to eat your dinner off a motorcycle? But look at it. Where it should be scuffed and scratched and worn, where there should be... Look at the wheels, these Marchesini wheels. I don't know if they were standard, were they? Maybe, maybe not. I think the bike is completely standard, like even the original indicators, original levers, people changed them for Pazzos. I did. You put super grips on here instead of the standard Ducati grips. None of that. Standard, standard, standard. Mirrors, no carbon fibre, not even a carbon fibre hugger on the back. This is a standard motorcycle. Standard exhaust on a Ducati, not Termigonis. What's going on? Well, some people like to keep things standard. but very few do. Very few of us, motorcyclists, can avoid the temptation to lavish love on our bike, can we? We want to show it some love, so we change things. No, not this guy. Kept it standard. £3,000 to £3,500, that's the biggest bargain so far. Like a, not brand new, because it's done what? Oh, well, like I said, 3,500 miles. Wow. Completely original, 3 keys, never mind your 1 key or 2 key, we've got 3 keys with this, a V5, it starts, runs and rides, of course it does. It's like a 20-year-old bike that looks like it's 2 years old, if that. £3,000 to £3,500. Why isn't it worth more? I don't know, but a great opportunity for somebody. I reckon this Friday in our sale at Manor Park. Get online, get registered to bid, because you might think, oh yeah, for once Berry's right. That is a mega bargain. I'm going to register. Ayrton Senna, he likes bikes. Lewis Hamilton likes bikes, doesn't he? He always turns up at the Grand Prix on a motorcycle. I like Lewis. I know a lot of people don't. I do. Sir Lewis, to you, Berry, is what you're thinking. Yes, Sir Lewis, and rightly so. This, though, was a tribute to another four-wheeled motor racing hero, but a different one. Ayrton Senna, of course. Ducati did a series of Senna bikes. This is one of them from 2002. It's the 900SS Senna Tribute. So it's a V-twin, mostly original bike with original panels. The paintwork is in great condition, say the lads. They're not wrong. It is. It's fantastic. I've had loads of these. When I say loads, I've had 3. Not the Senna, but 900SSs. I've had 3 of them. And the finish wasn't the best. Let's say it wasn't like Honda or BMW. But they're beautiful. They've got tons of character. They're not that fast, but they feel fast because the vibration and the smell and the sound and everything. You have to, like they say, if you don't know, you can't understand. You've just got to ride a Ducati to understand what the appeal is. They're different now. They are super fast and super high tech, but once upon a time, they were very analog and they were very pretty and very cheap. Even though it's the Senna, 3,250 to 3,750 is our estimate. Another one. Very low mileage, stunning example. Why aren't people riding these motorbikes? They're great. There's a reason, I understand. All kinds of things can get in the way. People want one all their life. They get one, something happens. You get sent to the other side of the world to work or whatever. Why am I going into all this? It's probably not the time and the place. I just wonder why we end up with bikes like this, because even though it's from 2006, it's nearly 20 years old, it has done less than 3,000 miles. So you've got the single overhead cam, 2-valve per cylinder, 900 L-twin. The lads have put L-twin. Well done, lads. People say V-twin. It's not a V-twin. It's an L-twin. It's like, it was a 500, and then they stuck another cylinder, didn't they? Pointing upwards instead of across, or across instead of upwards. So it's not a V-twin. Harley's are V-twins. This is an L-twin. Packs of receipts and MOTs. We've got the owner's manual, the belts and valves. Yeah, wow, it's only done less than 3,000 miles, and the belts and valves have been done, which they always tell you to do. That's because the belts become brittle. I understand. It's an age thing, not a mileage thing. It's been done. This is an import. It's got KM clocks on it. We've got the V5 and we've got 2 keys. Could have come in from Japan, which is why it's got... So it's completely standard. Placky, hugger, it's not even got the carbon fiber. It's completely standard. Fantastic bike. Wow, less than 3,000 miles. It's effectively like, you know, ex-demo, isn't it, from the main dealer? But you're not paying them prices. £3,000 to £3,500. 2006. It's the FF, which is why I think it's got... No, it's got a double seat, but Ducati would do that. They'd get an idea in their head. Oh, let's do a limited edition. Few stickers, bit of carbon fibre. Not even Termigoni exhaust. Standard bike. Weird. Here's something special. 900SS, final edition, the generation before them, from 1999. What a beautiful example of this machine. Fabulous. Number 226. I love them. I love these. They're not fast by modern standards at all, but they're lovely to ride. They're just such a friendly, forgiving motorcycle. What you put in, you get back. You're getting passed by other people on modern machinery, but you don't care because it's so much fun to ride this motorcycle. Moderately fast. Yeah. You don't have to go crazy. You can go crazy on the next bike that we're going to look at. But on this one, you can have moderately fast fun on a beautiful bit of kit for about £7,500. 7,250 to 7,750 is the estimate. There's a private plate on it. The valves were done a couple of thousand miles ago. We got the V5 and the service history and all that sort of stuff. 1999, final edition of that SS before they built that one. Now, I was talking about going moderately fast. However, if you want to like take your brain out and deep fry it, how about one of these? Ducati changed, didn't they? They got money and they could build the bikes that they wanted to build. They always wanted to build rather than the ones that they could afford to build. And boy, oh boy, did they build some fabulous machines. Look at this. Every bit the two-wheeled Ferrari, isn't it? This is a Ducati Desmosedici RR, a road legal MotoGP bike. This has got everything. It was owned by the highly decorated racer Declan Eccles, who is a local man, I believe. It's had two owners. There are 3 registered keepers to it, though. And it's just got, it's a Desmosedici RR, but then it's got like these, because they said to me, the guy spent 30 grand on it on top of the purchase price. And I said, no, he can't have. That's impossible. Because a Desmosedici RR is your Sherpa Tenzing on top of Mount Everest with Sir Edmund with a flag. You can't go higher. But you can, apparently, because you can buy these Dimag wheels, which are an extra huge amount of money to put on a Desmosedici RR, and you can fit the short shifter kit, which, when they told me how much that costs fitted, I was quite alarmed, because the price that they came up with would probably buy you 2 of those bikes that we've just looked at, and that was just the price of the short shifter kit. This is as far as you can go. This fella, Declan Eccles, he built this bike without any idea of how much it would cost. He just said, just do it. Whatever's the best, I want it. I want it on my bike. And he damn well got it. I believe that gentleman is no longer with us, and that's why the bike's for sale. Look at it. It's a work of art, but it's also just about the fastest motorcycle that's ever been road legal. Wow. Guess what? It's expensive. Yeah. 45 to £50,000 is our estimate. And yet, look what you're getting for that. Amazing. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? Ever. Right, shall we have a break? Cup of tea? I could do with one. Welcome back. And as if to prove that we're all about variety here at Manor Park, something utterly contemporary. The sort of bike that is, when I was riding them, he said, when I had a Cajiva Elephant, in fact I had a 750 and a 900, and I used to rock up on it, one of the original sort of on-road adventure bikes, people go, what's that? They've never seen one before. Now, of course, everyone's riding bikes that look like this, but perhaps not as good as this one. This is, as the lads say, the ultimate touring tool. I thought that was Charlie Bohm. No, we rehearsed this joke earlier. And I said, don't say Ewan McGregor, because he's dead nice. Charlie's nice as well. So let's leave it at that. The ultimate touring tool, they meant the bike. It's a 2020 CFR 1100L Africa Twin Adventure Sports bike. It's done 11,659 miles. It is, of course, a 4-stroke parallel twin, genuine Honda, metal panniers and top box. It's got crash bars. It's got a bash plate underneath. It's got extra spotlights on the front. It's got one of these wind rider seats. We'll say no more about that. It massages the nether parts on those long journeys across Europe that you could do if you thought I might be in the market for one of them. I've seen how much they are new. How much do we reckon that one's going to go for at 5-year-old with less than 12,000 miles on it? Well, we reckon £8,000 to £8,500. Current MOT, of course, we've got the V5, all sorts of extras on it, ready to rock and roll. That Africa Twin. I had one of these, except it wasn't the Boxer version. It was the standard R1100S, and I enjoyed owning it. It's a good bike. A sports bike, but what used to be, not BMW's modern take on a sports bike, their rather old-fashioned take on a sports bike, which is that it should also have touring capability, because it was a BMW Boxer. The Cup, because of course they had a single series, race series, when this bike came out. And in fact, I think they got some pretty big names. I seem to remember Randy Mamola being in it at some point. But yeah, it was BMW, so the bike is beautifully put together. This one is presented in, they always say stunning, don't they? It's in stunning condition. It's not. I'm not stunned, I'm impressed. It's beautiful. Look at the paintwork, look at the frame, the swinging arm with the power lever, telly lever. Bit more carbon than it would have had back in the day. We've got a carbon plate there on the end. Carbon front mudguard. Yeah, that was the Cup. The Cup was also, I think, I'll get behind it to prove the point. The Cup rode higher than the standard. It definitely did. I had one of these, did many miles on it. It was lower than this Cup version. And that, of course, was because of these. Because if you're going to race them, you've got to get the bike up as high as you can, because in corners, obviously, that's the first thing that touches down. It's done. It's done 700 miles from brand new. 100 brake horsepower, this bike. 6-speed manual, twin laser under-seat exhaust, all-in suspension, carbon fibre head covers, braided brake lines. They've gone to town. Gone to town on this one. Wow, is it from 2005? Is it really 20 years old? It is. So a BMW R1100S Boxer Cup, much rarer than the regular one. A ton of money spent on it. It's in great condition and it's done. Sorry, that odometer reading. Ah, yes. It's not done 687 miles. It's done 6,800 miles. But it looks like it's done the lower figure that I've just mentioned then erroneously. Please don't let me mislead you on that. You can check these things online, or you can come along on Friday and have a look yourself when the sale will take place here. Our fantastic premises in Leafy, Cheshire, not far from Runcorn, not far from Warrington, not far from my native Manchester, on all kinds of places. We are beautifully positioned just off the motorway. Come and see us if you can. £5,500 is the estimate on that one. Wow, what a lot of bike for that money. I'm not surprised we put it here under these lights. It looks good. The paint is unmarked. It's not like, oh yeah, there's a few stone chips. There's not a scratch, which is why we put it under that light. Gorgeous bike, great price. Somebody's going to get a bargain. This Friday, 2023 Moto Guzzi V100 Mandello dell'Ario, which is of course the exquisite location of the Moto Guzzi factory, the most beautiful automotive factory in the world, right there on the lake. I went there. They were very nice, the people there. They let me sit on the V8 Racer from the 50s and rev it up. They wouldn't let me ride it. And when I did it, they put it underneath this arch where you go in, where it says Moto Guzzi in big red letters. They put it under there and let me sit on it and rev it up. Loads of people came out of the factory. True enthusiasts. Yeah. Anyway. V100 Mandello, a great sports tourer, this one. Must be low mileage, surely. What have we got on this one? 959 miles. Yeah. It's only 2 years old. Oh, we've got a fresh, clean MOT. I was going to say it doesn't need one. But some people put them in when they're selling it just to prove that the bike doesn't need anything. We've got, is that a Shad, that top box? I think it is, or is it official Guzzi? It's a Shad. Isle of Man registration on this one. Look at this with a single-sided at the back here. Of course, with it being a Moto Guzzi, it is a shaft drive and it's a V-twin. Transverse, not in line. Traditionally styled Guzzi. It couldn't be anything else but a Moto Guzzi. Very low mileage. Top box included, £7,500. Of course, there's a buyer's premium of 15% and there's a minimum charge of £300 plus VAT on all our motorcycle sales here at Manor Park. The Big Bandit, Suzuki GSF1250. We're up to 1250 by 2007, which is where this one dates from. The do-it-all motorcycle, it says on here. They copied that off me, the lads. I said that. The Bandit's the do-it-all motorcycle. What's going on here? Anyway, it is, isn't it? You can tour on it, you can scratch on it. They do mega wheelies. Even I can do a mega wheelie on one of these. There's proof on YouTube. Yeah. I bet you can't. Yeah, YouTube. Absolutely like that, I was. Only managed it once. Absolutely like that. I said to the cameraman, did you get that? He said, yeah. I was like, you're on my Christmas card list forever. They really are do-it-all bikes, though, as I say. 16-valve liquid-cooled inline-4 engine. Unbreakable, that engine. It is, I know, because my pal, Gary Rothwell, used to stunt on a 1200 Bandit, and you will never give a bike the abuse that he gave it, and it just ran and ran and ran and ran. It took a licking, and it kept on ticking. The Suzuki Bandit. Fresh MOT on this one. You'll never find another one like this. It's from 2007, and it's got 1,000 miles on it. Yeah, we don't know why, but it has. We've got the owner's manual, the service book. We've got one key. It's got a main stand. Power brand screen has been added to it. We've got the service book. 2 service stamps. One at 400 miles and one at 900 miles. It's done just over 1,000 miles in nearly 20 years. These things happen. Somebody's going to get a mega bargain. The estimate £3,000 to £3,500 on the 1250S Suzuki Bandit. A big wing. Who don't like a big wing? It's making me feel peckish. It's the same colours as a Twix or a Snickers. Look at this. Luxury with a capital G. The variety we have here at Manor Park. Awesome, isn't it? 1 minute you're on something covered in carbon fibre and like, you know, super duper fast. And the next minute, you've got basically the two-wheeled equivalent of a Cadillac. Look at the size, the sheer size of the thing. 1991, this is from. It's a 1500 by this time, the Goldwing. Anniversary edition. It's a British bike. In other words, you know what I mean. It was sold new in the UK. It's not an import from the States or Japan or anywhere like that. It's in great condition. A lot of these wings cover big mileage, because that's what they're for, obviously. This one, though, yeah, right. So 1991, it's 34-year-old. It's only done 40,000 miles. 1520 flat 4 shaft drive, upgraded audio package. You're bombing along. The last time I was on a bike that had like a stereo on it, it connected to my mate's before, who was behind me on another bike, because it was his. He was the only one who had connection thing on. It connected to him, and it played. As I rode into a bike show, it played loudly through the speakers, Guilty by Barbra Streisand and the Beatles. Not the Beatles, the Bee Gees. Barbra Streisand and the Beatles would have been better. I asked him why it was on his playlist, and he shamelessly said, because it's good. Yeah, and we're still friends. The paint, which is a lot of paint. I mean, name me a motorcycle that's got more paintwork on it. Look at the back. Of course it's got a tow bar. Has it got a tow bar, Berry? Yeah. Well, it's got the electrics for a tow bar. I would imagine the tow bar attaches somewhere there. The paintwork, as I say, is in fantastic condition. The bike's in great condition. I can't find any evidence of like corrosion or excessive wear. Nothing split. These seats, look at these seats. I'm going to sit on this one, Phil. Hold on. Hold on. I'm the king of the road, aren't I? Look at that. With a backrest. Oh. Oh. Mirrors, extra mirrors on the mirrors. It's got everything. Compass. Wow. Celebrating a decade of US production of the Goldwing. Yeah, because of course, Ronald Reagan brought in a tax, I think on Japanese bikes over 750. And Honda's response was to build these wings in Ohio instead of Tokyo. Right, I'll try and dismount gracefully. What do you reckon of the chances of that? There we are, not so bad. It's not for me, but I love it at the same time. I'm going to step out of the way. I can just see how awesome it is. Look at it. Look at the size of the bugger. 3,250 to 3,750 for a 1991 GL 1500 Goldwing SE anniversary edition with a special paint and all kinds of extras, including upgraded audio, backrest for the rider. Look at the passenger accommodation on the back of there. It's not like asking a lass to get on the back of an FZR600 or an RS250, is it? They're going to say yes straight away. Do you want to, shall we go somewhere? Get on. Fantastic. And bring as many shoes as you like, because we've got luggage to spare. Here, there, everywhere. Fantastic. I got all excited about that, mate. Right, over here. 1975, Barry Sheen went to Daytona on a TR750. Not this one, and this isn't a TR750. It looks like one, it looks very much like one. It's a great looking motorcycle that evokes that race bike. I was going to say that classic race bike that Barry rode and won on, but it's not really, well, it is a classic, but it got the nickname the Flexi Flyer because the chassis couldn't cope with the horsepower that the engine was kicking out. And so it was very difficult to ride. However, because Barry was so good, he could not only ride on it, he could win on it. You could be like Barry with this TR750 Evocation, 2-stroke triple, 750cc, 5-speed, front and rear disc brakes, Formula 750 Classic eligible, hand-built titanium exhaust systems, which sound awesome. This motorcycle, I'm sure that the expert camera work here will give you an idea of just what kind of standard this bike's built to. It's gorgeous, and you can just see the attention to detail all over the motorcycle. 20,000 to 22,000 pounds. Yes, that's how much this sort of workmanship and, like I said, design, attention to detail, and the rare parts that are on the bike to create something very special will cost you 20 to 22,000 pounds on the TR750 1975 Suzuki, the Evocation. This is an X11, yeah? It is an X11, yeah. I don't know why I said that. I know it's an X11. I used to smoke about on one. It was great. The Honda CB1100 SF, a naked Blackbird, liquid-cooled 1137, double overhead cam, inline 4. We've got a large pack of documents with this one, including invoices and MOTs. It's only done 12,600 miles since 1999, which isn't a lot, is it? No. It's hardly, it's not even, it's like 500 miles a year, if that. Crazy. The MOT's till June next year. 2 previous keepers, Scorpion cans. We've got the original ones, which are massive. They are, the cans on these are huge. The bike's huge, look at it. What a big beast of a bike. Look at that. 5'10", mate, in my stocking feet. You wouldn't think, would you? Look how big this bike is. That is a lot of motorcycle for 3,000 to 3,500 pounds. The naked Blackbird, the X11. Suzuki GSX-R 750 Slingshot, an outstanding example. Oof, the paint on this is fabulous. Wow. The frame, everything, the wheels, the forks are beautiful. Everything's been done. Everything's been restored. The fit and finish is great. This has been a meticulous person. I nearly said meticulous man. It probably was a man, let's be honest, who did this. And why not? Because the GSX 750 Slingshot is an iconic motorcycle. Remus can, recent clean MOT, a truly outstanding example. The lads have written that down. They're bang on. It is. Oh, what a bike. Classic. When you say classic bike, you think of something British with like footboards and like, you know, gas pipe handlebars like that. But, nothing wrong with that, but to some of us of a certain age, this is more classic because it just evokes an era, a time and a place, doesn't it? And still offers sensational performance. £6,000 to £6,500 for the 1988. I was 23. Then with the days, unmarried, no kids. That was all great. Not all of it. That's my ex-wife. But before that, you could think, yeah, man alive, look at that. Well, maybe now all the time's passed since then, 1988, it's been a while since then, it's time to finally have one of these. And you won't find one much better than that one. 25,000 kilometres on it rather than miles. I think they are because it's got mile per hour stickers on the clock. That is beautiful. Wow. £6,000 to £6,500. Is the same thing except newer. Is it lovelier? To me, no. To you, probably. It all depends on your age, your situation, whatever. Still a great bike. Still a fantastic bike. 2010 Suzuki GSX-R750, 25th anniversary of the GSX-R in 2010. Very collectible modern classic. It's only done just over 1,500 miles. Look at it. Mint. Minter. Alan Minter. No, not him. 2 previous owners. It's got the anniversary certificate. We've got receipts for services. The last one at 1,200 miles. It's done 1,600 miles. A pack of old MOTs, the owner's manual. It's data tool, alarmed up. 2 keys plus the fobs. It's all there. No problems. No worries. Nothing wrong with it. Got a mad loud exhaust on it, by the looks of it. I'm sure that enables that fantastic engine to perform at its best. It's got a limited edition thing engraved there on the top yoke. So, you know, that's rather nice. 25th anniversary since 1985. Wow. Number 6 of 25. They only did 25. 7,750 to 8,250. The 2010 GSX750 K8 25th anniversary. SP1 VTR. Joey Dunlop was the man on these, wasn't he? At the island and other places. Based on the Firestorm, the VTR1000, but sexed up considerably. The SP1 power commander and custom mapping on this one. Harris high-level titanium exhaust. Wow, look at them. They would have been pricey. Harris rear sets, matching exhaust hangers. Harris screen brace here. Colour-matched rear hugger and under tray. And it's got new tyres. 13,000 miles from new. You'd never guess. In fantastic condition. Oof, they make a great sound, these. I'll bet they do with those Harris pipes on. They would have been expensive. However, you can now have the whole thing for £6,000 to £7,000. 2001 VTR1000 SP1. Castrol Honda replica. Oof, great looking bike. Fantastic. With the Harris rear sets, Harris exhaust, all those pricey extras on it. Paint's fantastic. Tyres, everything's great. Ready to go. £6,000 to £7,000. We reckon. 2001 YZF750, original 90s superbike from 2001. Well, you know, details. 5,396 kilometres from new, really? Yes, really. 6-speed manual, it's a complete bike. It's been in long-term storage. That's why it's not really been anywhere. It's just been sitting in nice, obviously inside, in some nice, dry, non-mouldy, non-sort of corrosive environment. Needs a clean, this bike. Totally standard. Even got the massive original Yamaha site. Just, could you come round and just show, perhaps the younger people, or remind the lads, how massive the original silencers used to be on these bikes. It's almost like they were saying, yeah, get rid of that.
As soon as you buy it, ditch that. And what would you have had? You would have had two brothers. This is before Akrapovic and all that. Or maybe Yoshimura. Yeah. Oh, I remember paying for a two brothers silencer for mine. Ridiculously expensive. But the standard one. This one's got the standard one and it's in fantastic condition. A completely standard bike. The guy never got round to putting his mark on this one because something happened and it just stayed in the garage, which is why it's only done 5,000 kilometres, just more than 5,000 kilometres. 1.8 to 2.3 of your 1,000 English pounds is our estimate on that incredibly original YZF750 from 2001. FZR250, don't think they ever sold these here, so this would have to be an import, of which there were many. FZR250, bit dusty. Somebody's rubbed it down thinking about painting it, and then they've not got round to it, and it's ended up here. Liquid cooled 250 4-stroke straight 4. A 4-cylinder 250? Really? With double overhead cam? Wow. A simple winter restoration. Yeah, somebody's already, they got it up to the point where they were going to paint it and then stopped. It needs cleaning. You'll have to get the solvol and the toothbrush out for some of these parts and give them a zhush up. But the bike's all here. It's got a current MOT. Yeah, believe it or not. It doesn't look like it would, but it has. We've got that. No reserve. No reserve. I was looking for the price. That was the slight pause in proceedings. You thought, has he had a stroke? No. I stopped speaking for just a few seconds because I was looking for the estimate, and it's no reserve. 18,000 RPM. Can you just come here? Look at this. Look where the red line is. Look at that. Because you think, why would you have a 4-cylinder 250? Look where the red line is on a road bike from 1988. Wow, the technology that the Japanese had and put on their bikes. Rare thing, that. Not as nice as this. Well, it is in its own way. They're obviously all nice in their own different ways, but to me, again, this is a very special bike. The Aprilia RS250, their MotoGP inspired 2-stroke road bike. I went on the launch. The bloke in front of me ran over a cat. It wasn't his fault. He couldn't avoid it. He threw it up at me at the front of my bike. I remember that as being something of a invigorating moment, shall we say, in my motorcycling career. Love these. Like the Japanese 2-strokes that were around at the same time, but physically larger. If you park one next to a KR1S or an RGV250 or a TZR, it's just bigger. It's more, can I say man size without getting in trouble? It's just, which makes it more practical for on the road. For one person. I mean, look, yes, technically you can sit somebody on the back of there by taking this off. But look at the distance between the seat and the peg. You know, yeah, technically somebody can sit on the back, but no, don't do that. Terrible idea. Beautiful, look at that banana rear swing arm and the polished frame. What a bike. No wonder these things are becoming collectible. No wonder the price is going up for a real minter. This isn't a real minter. It's in very good condition. 55 brake horsepower, 6-speed gearbox, 2-stroke V-twin. You knew all that. And even for one which is in really good, but not arrow exhaust. Look at them on the back, super sexy. Not in the best condition. It just needs improving, and you could do that. It's cheaper than ones that we've seen recently. The estimate is still 7,250 for 7,750 pounds, so about £7,500 for an affordable example of what has become. People are saying, oh, is this the next modern classic? No, it's there. It is a modern classic, the Aprilia RS250. Another Aprilia, the RSV Mille, the 1000cc. 6-speed manual. It's got a pillion seat cowl on it like it would have. Part of the service history, Aprilia Racing silencer on there. I'm trying to see how different it is from standard. I think this is almost a standard bike. I think that's a replacement from mudguard. 2 keys in the owner's manual. We have a part service history on this one. I think it's more or less original. What's the mileage on it? 20,900 miles from new. 20-year-old bike. The estimate, super cheap to get something with this much character that looks this great. I think this styling's dated really well. Some bikes from 20 years ago look a bit old hat. Not this one. Distinctive styling. The Italians, they know what they're doing when it comes to making things look nice, don't they? And they absolutely knocked it out of the park with the Aprilia RSV Mille V-twin superbike. Get this, a V-twin superbike. All those great things I've just said about it. In, like the RS250, good, really good, but not mint condition. But look at the price. 2,250 to 2,750 we think it might go for. I think they were a victim of their own success. I think they were so good, tons of people bought them, and they're easy to find used. If they were rarer, I'm sure the price would be much higher because they are really good. I like this. We've had so many people saying they love these colours instead of the Kawasaki green, and I'm with them. What a fantastic looking motorcycle. ZX7R Ninja, classic superbike, as the lads say here on the description. It is, isn't it? 749 inline 4-cylinder, 6-speed manual, electric start. It's got a Micron exhaust. It's not green. And we reckon that this motorcycle, which has covered just under 20,000 miles since 1999, so it's like 1,000 miles a year. Less than that, because that's 26 years and it's not done 20,000 miles quite. 2,250 to 2,750 on the 99 Kawasaki ZX7R Ninja. Now, I had a fella coming up to me at the Classic Mechanics show at Stafford wanting me to autograph his T-shirt. Now, I thought when I got into the old media and telelark that I might have ladies wanting me to do that. But it's not. It's just a procession of blokes called Colin and Derek and Steve and Dave, which is fine. You know, that's the way it is. That's life, innit? And the reason he wanted me to do it was because he had an Aprilia Falco T-shirt on, and he was on his Aprilia Falco, and he knew how much I like these bikes. I smoked about on one for about 6 months back in the day. I really enjoyed owning it. The Mille was a bit much for day-to-day use. I commuted on one of these. I had a great time riding one of these, and I've got a lot of affection for what is a very usable. It was kind of like Ducati's ST4 would have been the equivalent at the time. A sports touring motorcycle. Or perhaps a Honda. Maybe the VFR800 was a bit too small and lacking the sort of performance and horsepower this had. Lacking the character very much. And I really like Honda VFRs. This one is a 6-speed manual, 1000cc liquid-cooled V-twin. It's got the RSV engine with a power commander, Öhlins forks and rear shock, and steering damper. So that's an upgrade. Or did they do an SP version of this? I can't remember, but this one has got that. It's got the Öhlins forks, it's got the Öhlins rear shock and the steering damper. Colin Edwards top yoke on there. Brembo brakes with braided hoses and BrakeTech floating discs. It's got a quick shifter and a race setup on it. Wow, this bike has had a lot of money and a lot of love lavished on it. How much? Not much at all. Not much at all. 2,250 to 2,750 for the 2005 Aprilia SL1000 Falco in fantastic conditions with the upgrades to RSV spec, Öhlins suspension, all the special discs, top yoke. Fantastic looking bike. Great performing bike. And cheap as chips. I'm looking on the side. I think it's an Aprilia. And it is. It's an Aprilia R124, RS125. The last of the full power versions. Like the last of the V8 Interceptors. I watched Mad Max the other week with a friend. I'd forgotten just how odd that film is. That's all I'll say. If you've got a memory of it one way, rewatch it. You might change your mind. Anyway, this is not the last of the V8 Interceptors. It's the last of the full power RS125s. Two-stroke, single cylinder, part of a small private collection. The current owner's a full license holder. You can't have one of these on L plates because it's the full power. An engine rebuild in 2020, including pistons. Pistons, it's a single, isn't it? Piston, crank and bearings, offered with a V5, HPI clear. It's done. 12,000 miles from new. You wouldn't think that. You really wouldn't. A very clean motorcycle. And a 125. But it's full power. It wasn't a learner bike when it was new. So it's a different kind of owner. It's a different kind of person that buy, i.e. not a maniac like we all were when we got our first little bike and tried to ride it flat out everywhere, which never really worked out well, did it? But, you know, different when it's the full power version. Too expensive for learners. Too much power for L plates. 3,000 to 3,500 on the 2007 Aprilia RS125. We've got the V5 and all that sort of stuff with it, and, you know, there are absolutely no problems. Don't forget, the buyer's premium is 15%, and there's a £300 minimum charge plus VAT on all the bikes in our sales. And don't extrapolate from cars to bikes because they're different. You can check all these details on our website, Manor Park Classics. Our sale is this coming Friday. Over here. 1972 was the year, and what a year it was. Suzuki GT550. This one is a triple. It's a two-stroke. It was part of a small private collection, this one, before it came to us. And you can tell. Look at the paintwork. Can you imagine that in 1972? You'd be on that wearing your budgie jacket with your Lionel Bears flapping as you accelerated furiously towards the red line on this, which would have been, well, they don't tell you. They just give you like up to 10,000 RPM and they let you work it out for yourself. When you hear terrible noises, but because it's Japanese, you probably wouldn't hear terrible noises, would you? It'd probably work infuriatingly. I love it. Look at this at the back. Look at that. Look how fantastic. Why would it be so well designed and substantial and kind of saucy, all shiny and gorgeous, unless you were the Japanese and you thought, we're going to take all the motorcycle sales off everybody else by building fabulous performance motorcycles that look great and hold together and don't break and go on and on and on, like me. 1972, that one's from. Ram Air System. What a fantastic looking motorbike. Still on a drum brake at the front, but just look at it. Sex on wheels. 3,000, no, not 3,000. Sorry, no, hold your horses, everyone. Whoa, 5,250 to 5,750. The owner states it was put away in perfect condition. And do you know what? The owner was right. It is in perfect condition. Somebody was raving about these at the weekend at that Stafford show I keep going on about. We do that at Manor Park. We go on to these shows. We went to Stafford. We're going to the NEC show. Come over and talk to us. Or run in the opposite direction at full speed, should you so desire. But there's a bloke going on saying, you know, them GT550s were better than the 750, better than the Kettle. I was like, well, yeah, it's an opinion. We've all got them. Montesa Cota. Here it is, 335. 1980s, no reserve, two-stroke trial bike. Probably in the window of Jim Sandyford's in Bury, Lancashire, who were, of course, the Montesa dealers for the UK. Many's the happy hour I spent with my grubby little face pressed against their window, looking at these fantastic, exotic, red Spanish off-road bikes. Then I used to go across the road and press my grubby face against the window of Ian Anthony, where they had Porsches and Ferraris. Yeah, in Little Bury. Montesa's in one and Porsches and Ferraris over the road. It's got a kickstart. It's a two-stroke, obviously, 327cc, so I don't know why they called it 335. What's wrong with 327? Very original, 6-speed gearbox, front and rear disc brakes. Wow, in the 1980s. No V5 as it is a competition motorcycle. And very successful in competition they were too, because they were great. Look at that, what a great looking machine as well. Purely made for competition, no consideration to what it looks like really. It's built to plastic tank. Yes, sir. It's meant to try and win a race. Well, it's not really a race, a trial, is it? A contest. But it still looks fantastic. Honda MT50 SC, a lovely original example with a high-level exhaust, so that means you like off-roading. Far more likely to be hanging around outside the Spa, trying to get people to buy you Embassy Regal or Kansas Strongbow, yeah? We know what you like. But, boy oh boy, you were, I'm trying to think of something broadcastable, you were a top lad. Hard to think of something that's not acceptable for, you know, that might get you a YouTube ban or whatever. You were a top lad if you had one of these. Still got a drum brake on the front. Reed valve air cool 2-stroke single. Bring, ding, 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 ding. Go on, Steve, pull a wheelie. Oh, it's all gone madly wrong. Call the police. Get an ambulance. No! You weren't going fast enough for one of these, were you? To really hit yourself. Well, of course you were. MT5. What a great design. What a great bike. Fabulous. No reserve. Montesa Cota. Bit earlier than the one that we've just had. This one must be. 1980. Not that much earlier. 2-stroke trial bike. Kickstart, of course. Saving weight all over the shop on this, aren't you? You haven't even got a backlight or anything, a number plate. It's not a road bike. It's a competition bike. It's a... Oh, come on, lads. It's a Vrigio-Vesterinen replica. I think he was Finnish, wasn't he? Vrigio-Vesterinen. Sorry I've said that wrong, but I'm aware that at one time the Scandinavians were powering the land when it comes to the world of trials. I think they've had him over recently. I think he's still with us, this fella. They had him over to Yorkshire, which of course is like, it's the home of trials really, isn't it? 6-speed gearbox, twin shock, front and rear drum, full running order, no V5. It is what it is. There's no reserve on that 1980 Montesa Cota. Honda CRF 250L, virtually unused. You wonder why, but that's the score. Supermoto styled, of course. What a great looking bike. Wow. 2019, 6-year-old, it's done. No miles, 200 miles. Wow. Somebody bought it and didn't like it. I wonder if they couldn't get on it. Look how high that saddle is for a 125. My lad would be all right. He's 6'4". You might be as well. You might be thinking that'd be just the thing for me. 200 miles, you say, Barry? Yeah. Obviously, you can see it. Look. Not a mark on it. Data tag, 2 keys, HPI clear. We've got the V5. Liquid cool single cylinder, double overhead cam, 4-stroke. Got the service book, £3,500 to £4,000. Brand new, but from 6 years ago, CRF250L. We've put this on a pedestal for a reason, because it's a bit special. It is a DMS-Honda XR520. Oof. Moto Fox, Dick Man specialities. He was the man, wasn't he, Dick Man? Wow. What a great looking machine. Look at that. It'd be a shame to ride it off-road. You get it all dirty. Look at the shiny. Look at all this. Part of a stunning off-road collection needs to be seen to be appreciated, the lads have said, and that is true. What a trick-looking piece of kit this is. If you know your 1980s Hondas, especially those sort of the American variety, because it's got the old Fox suspension on it, hasn't it here? Fox factory fork. Easy for me to say. Fox factory rear shock. Shiny. They're probably Talon. I don't know. It doesn't say on them. They look like Talon. Are they Talon? No. Simpro wheels. Okay. Mint to death, this one. Absolutely. Like I say, you'd think, do you want me to... It'll get dirty. It seems a shame. But I still would. And so would you probably. 12,000, there's a reason for this. Very collectible, absolutely perfect, no expense spared restoration. 12,000 to 14,000 on the 1980 DMS Honda XR250. KTM, Oof. Look at this brute. Again, what I'll do is shimmy in here to give you some sense of the size of this beast. It's a 495 from 1982, a classic motocross bike, 493 single two-stroke. It's had a complete nut and bolt rebuild, electronic ignition and a new Mikuni carburetor. Not for the faint-hearted. But then again, if you're looking at this, you're probably fully aware of just how awesome these things are. And yes, motorbikes did get faster after this, but did they get any more awesome, intimidating, and like extreme? I don't think so. This era, ooh, put the fear of God in you, wouldn't they? With good reason. 1982 KTM 495. Only with a nut and bolt restoration. Kept a lot of the original parts, obviously. 5 to £5,500 is the estimate on the 82 KTM 495. This an MZ? Yeah, it is. MZ TS250 twin shock trials bike, an MZ trials bike, built by the owner to compete, not to ride on the road. It's not registered. We've got a file of photos of the build. The owner states it starts, runs and rides. It's in fantastic condition. He's done a lovely job on it. I like these things. We've said this before. We've been into it. People have asked me why. They seem positively agricultural in comparison to the rest of the stuff that we had. But they have their own charm, I think. And they were very effective. They didn't look like they would be, but they were. Because it was MZ. They were operating under communism, for goodness sake. And yet they were still able to build a bike like that. Fantastic. Kickstart, of course. £1,000 to £1,500 is the estimate on the 1980 MZ TS251. Yamaha DT400, bit of a ledge. 5-speed gearbox. It's a 2-stroke air-cooled single with a kickstart, front and rear drum brakes. Imported into UK in 2017. They sold these by the shipload in the United States of America, where they seem to have, maybe it's not the same today, a rather more relaxed attitude to off-road motorcycling. Well, they've got a lot more room, haven't they? You know, you could just buzz off into the desert on one of these, and many people did. Ride it to work, compete on it at the weekend, like people used to do over here back in the day on BSAs and Triumphs and Nortons and Ariels and whatnot. It runs and rides well. Like I say, imported in 2017. We've got a full V5. £3,500 to £4,000. 1978 Yamaha DT400. I know a Veloset LE when I see one. A noddy bike. And this is it. Wow. It's not like anything else in this room. What an oddball. And I love it for that. I don't love it for other reasons, but I love the original radical thinking that Veloset, what a great name that was. They started as Veloz, and then Veloset was like the little version, the smaller, you know, like, yeah, you knew that. Water-cooled, horizontally opposed twin-cylinder side valve engine. Put those words together. Nobody else puts those words together because nothing else is a twin-cylinder side valve, horizontally opposed, water-cooled. Nothing. But a Veloset LE was. It was the future in 1957. It owns starts and rides. It's a UK bike, a popular version of a starter classic. There's been nothing like it since, and there was nothing like it at the time. No reserve on that one. We've got a BSA B31 project here. Four-cylinder. Four-cylinder, what am I talking about? Four-cylinder. Anyone can see it's a single cylinder. I'm losing the plot here. Four-stroke, I meant. Four-stroke, single-cylinder, overhead valve. We've got a dating letter for the frame that says 1948 and a dating letter for the engine that says 1957. A large collection of parts with invoices, an unfinished project and sold in our sale this Friday at Manor Park in Cheshire with no reserve. The 1948 frame, 1957 engine, BSA B31. Kawasaki Z200. Here it is. A brown motorcycle. Is that brown? Right, I'll bet the catalogue says it's bronze. I'll ask the cameraman. Is that brown? He's sitting on the fence. The man's sitting on the fence. I'll bet it's bronze. Kawasaki bronze. Cut, it's had a tough life, this one. The bike looks original. It starts, runs and rides. It's HPI clear. We've got a V5 and 1 key for it. 98cc air-cooled 4-stroke, overhead cam. It's all there. It needs a lot of TLC, but it's all there. Kickstarter. Is it kickstart and electric start? Yeah, kickstart and electric start on a 200 in 1977. Those fiendishly clever Japanese. They knew what they were doing, didn't they? Yeah, a great little classic, no reserve. 200cc and it's got electric start and a kickstart. Great. Give it some love. Come on, get it bought and give it some love. Dot Scrambler, devoid of trouble. Made in a factory at the bottom of Deansgate in Manchester. The Dot, not in the heartland of Britain's motorcycle industry, which was, of course, the Midlands, Coventry and Birmingham, really. A superb machine. It's a 197cc with a Villiers engine. Of course, they didn't make the engines. They got them in from Villiers, like a lot of people did back in the day. Earl's type front forks, not your conventional tellies. A lovely restored trials bike, part of a collection. It starts, runs and rides 2,800 to 3,300 for the restored Dot Scrambler, the 197 Dot Scrambler. Devoid of trouble. That's what it stood for, Dot. They're making them again. I'll tell you more about that some other time. Honda MT50 SL. A great starter project. And no mistake. Part of a collection. It's got less than 2,000 miles showing since 1990. Missing switchgear is provided. You'll think, well, there's something. Well, we've got it. It comes with a clear HPI and a V5. It's all there. Needs a bit of love. Kickstart. 2-stroke. Reed valve induction. All that carry on. The MT50 SL. No reserve on that one. This is a lovely thing. We took this to the Stafford Classics to put on our stand, and it got a lot of love from people. One of the things to notice is how low the seat is. In comparison to that KTM over there that you need step ladders for, look at that. Virtually kneecap level, that saddle. But of course, the TS100 was a fun off-road and on-road bike. Hence it's saying here, a stunning 1973 lightweight dual sports bike. It's road registered, you ride it on the road, but it has off-road capability. It's not a motocross bike, but you could take it off-road. Single-cylinder, air-cooled 2-stroke, of course. A great addition to any collection, unless you already had one, which you probably haven't, almost certainly haven't. One former keeper. There's 7 miles on the odometer because that's all it's done since its rebuild. £3,000 to £3,500 is the estimate on the TS100. Another Dot. Look at this one. Wow. Shiny, shiny. Yeah, look how wide the bars are for such a relatively diminutive motorcycle. It's a 1951. Wow, this is from considerably earlier than the other one. 1951 Dot 197. Villiers engine, competition-built bike. A truly stunning example. We've got a great history file in the Buff logbook. This one is road registered. We've got the original order letter from the Manchester factory. Like I said, it was there at the bottom of Deansgate. If you know your Manchester. Down the bottom end there on the way out towards where Manchester United is. Pictures of the first owner competing on this bike from the 50s. Great addition to any collection. 4,800 to 5,300. Shiny, shiny. What a great looking bit of kit that is, made in Manchester. Come on. 4.8 to 5.3 on the 1951 Dot 197. Here we go. Every time, every sale, a bike that I've not only never seen before, a bike I've never heard of before. The Malaguti Cavalcone. The Malaguti Cavalcone. I actually ordered that the other night. Gave me a bit of an upset tummy. No, the Malaguti Cavalcone, a no reserve 50cc example of a bike that probably wasn't sold in the UK. Although this one, it's got a bit of a cool number plate. Edbit, EDD81T, Edbit. Yeah. What's it done this? Right, so it's got a Franco Marini two-stroke engine with a radial cylinder head. This one's matching numbers. It starts, runs and rides. It's got a plate on it. We've got a V5 from 1979. No reserve on that one. You could be the only lad in the school car park. Never mind all these lot with their fizzies and their AP50s and their SS50s. You could be the only one with a Malaguti Cavalcone. Oh yeah, you could be. No reserve. It's here to be sold. They're all here to be sold, but that one will go this Friday. Now, here's the bike I have seen and know all about. Well, not all about, the RD80. Great little bike. Two-stroke, single-cylinder, matching frame and engine numbers. Low miles on this one. It's done just over 5,000 kilometres. We've got two keys. It starts, runs and rides. The estimate is 1,000 to 1,500. An easy way into RD ownership with the 80. Super low mileage. You could put some miles on it yourself. It's only an 80, but it's a full-size motorcycle. You won't feel daft. I saw a bloke at Stafford riding a sports moped, and he was a big lad, about my age. And I have to say, well, I won't say what I have to say. That's an adult-sized motorcycle. As is this. Built like a gun, the Royal Enfield. I love the styling. If you could just come in here and we can see this. Look at this. I think you'd call it a nacelle. That's what you'd call it. It's got all your clocks built in, your switches. We've got like running lights here, either side of the headlight. This is a real one, 1961 Royal Enfield Crusader, British lightweight. It's a 250, part of a small private collection, receipts and invoices for the build. 1,300 quid recently spent getting it up to this saleable condition. It starts, runs and rides, and having spent 1,300 quid, it's now estimated that it'll sell for between 1,000 and 1,500 quid. And that's life, isn't it? Yeah. Someone else's misfortune could be your fortune this Friday. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it, with bikes? Sometimes you're the dog, sometimes you are the lamppost. Very much so. So, this one is, obviously, a matchless, the famous badge there. What a great badge, one of the greatest badges in motorcycling. Famously, in the Wild one, here's a fun fact for you, pot pickers. In the Wild one, I think Marlon Brando rode a Triumph, but they put a matchless badge where the Triumph badge should have been, and they turned it upside down so they wouldn't get sued by somebody. They just thought, take the badge off that one, take the Triumph one off and stick that other one on. I tell you what, stick it on upside down. Because you don't want to get sued, do you? It spoils your day. Ask Elton John. Right, so this is a G2 CSR, superb restoration, part of a small private collection. We've got a small dog, for some reason. Hello, dog. We've got... We've got the owner's manual, a large pack of receipts and bills for this bike. It was put away running, but it sat for a short time. It's offered with the V5, and it's no reserve. Wow, no reserve. Tax in post, look at that. That's what you used to put. Arthur Daly used to put that on there, didn't he? I used to just put in, like, a Newcastle Brown label or the tax disc off of the bike, and then, like, water damage it a bit. But I'm not saying you should do that, and of course you can't do that anymore because it's all been digitised. The modern world, eh? I tell you what, retreat from the modern world and go back to 1965 and buy, at no reserve in our sale this Friday, this fantastic matchless G2 CSR. Wonderful. That's it. That's as many bikes as we've got. What a sale. What a variety of bikes we've got. So don't miss it. It's this Friday. We start at 1 o'clock. It's best if you can be here. It's a cracking day out, even if you don't buy anything. But it's an even better day out if you do buy something. But you can't do that unless you register to bid. And you do that online at Manor Park Classics. I'll be here Friday. and I'll see you in real life or online. Don't miss it.